Before the cabbage ever reaches a table, before the jar is opened, before the first bite, the final kimchi's already moving through the factory like a red river. Thousands of bright, spicy batches pass through clean steel lines every day. Each leaf is coated, each portion is weighed, each pack is sealed with quiet precision. The color is deep red. The texture is wet and crisp. Steam rises from washing stations. Plastic trays slide forward. Workers move with the same rhythm again and again. But this finished food began as something very simple. A truck full of raw napa cabbage. Cold, pale, heavy with water, and inside this Korean kimchi factory, those raw vegetables are about to become one of Korea's most famous foods.
The first stage is not spicy. It is quiet and almost plain. The cabbage must be checked before anything else.
The first stage is not spicy. It is quiet and almost plain. The cabbage must be checked before anything else can happen. Outer leaves are removed. Damaged pieces are cut away. Good cabbage moves forward. Weak cabbage is rejected. In a small kitchen, a person may do this slowly by hand. In a factory, the same care must happen at speed. Workers stand beside long steel tables. Water shines on every surface. The cabbage is split open so the salt can reach the thick white stems. The shape matters. The size matters. Even the moisture matters. Kimchi may look rustic in a bowl, but inside a large Korean factory, the beginning is controlled, clean, and exact.
Now the cabbage meets salt. This is the first real transformation. Salt is not added only for taste.
Now the cabbage meets salt. This is the first real transformation. Salt is not added only for taste. Salt pulls water from the leaves. Salt softens the thick stems. Salt prepares the cabbage for the red seasoning that will come later. Workers spread coarse sea salt between the layers. The white stems receive more salt because they are thicker and harder. Then the cabbage rests in large containers. Time begins to work. The leaves slowly bend. The sharp raw snap becomes softer. The cabbage becomes flexible but not weak. This is a careful balance. Too little salt and the kimchi will not ferment correctly. Too much salt and the finished batch will taste harsh. The factory controls time, weight, and temperature so every batch can follow the same path.
While the cabbage drains, another part of the factory wakes up. The seasoning begins. Kimchi is not only cabbage and chili. It is built from layers of flavor.
While the cabbage drains, another part of the factory wakes up. The seasoning begins. Kimchi is not only cabbage and chili, it is built from layers of flavor. Radish is washed and cut into thin strips. Green onions are trimmed. Garlic is peeled. Ginger is cleaned. In some batches, fish sauce or fermented seafood brings deep savory flavor. In others, a rice paste helps the seasoning cling to every leaf. Each ingredient has a role. Some bring heat, some bring sweetness, but some bring salt, some bring the deep taste that makes kimchi feel alive. The factory does not rush this stage. If the seasoning is wrong, the whole batch is wrong. So the red paste begins with careful preparation.
This is where the color appears. Red chili flakes fall into the mixing bowl. The pale rice paste turns orange, then deep red. Garlic and ginger disappear into the mixture.
This is where the color appears. Red chili flakes fall into the mixing bowl. The pale rice paste turns orange, then deep red. Garlic and ginger disappear into the mixture. Radish strips become coated. Green onions shine through the paste like small green lines. The seasoning looks thick, but it must not be too dry. It must spread between cabbage leaves without tearing them. It must cling, but still move. Inside the mixer, the ingredients fold again and again. The sound is heavy and wet. The paste becomes smooth, bright, and alive with spice. This red mixture is the heart of kimchi. Without it, the cabbage would only be salted cabbage. With it, the real transformation begins. Now the cabbage and seasoning finally meet. This stage still needs human hands. Machines can wash, cut, move, and weigh, but the paste must reach between the layers. Workers open each cabbage half and spread the red seasoning into the folds. The thick stems receive more paste. The soft leaves receive a thinner coat. The cabbage changes color in seconds. Pale green turns red. The clean salted smell becomes spicy and deep. Every movement is repeated hundreds of times. Open, spread, fold, place. Open, spread, fold, place. The work looks simple, but the even coating is what makes every bite taste balanced. In this room, raw vegetables become kimchi.
Kimchi is not finished when the paste is added. The next step is quieter. The seasoned cabbage must rest. Fermentation is the invisible worker in the factory.
Kimchi is not finished when the paste is added. The next step is quieter. The seasoned cabbage must rest. Fermentation is the invisible worker in the factory. The cabbage holds salt, chili, garlic, ginger, and natural bacteria from the vegetables. In controlled rooms, temperature and time shape the flavor. Some kimchi is packed fresh and continues changing later. Some kimchi is held longer for a deeper taste. The factory watches the process closely. Containers are sealed. Samples are checked. Cold rooms slow the change. Warmer rooms can speed it up. The food is alive in a safe and controlled way. The sharp cabbage becomes deeper, tangier, and more complex. The factory does not create that flavor by force. The factory guides it.
Workers and machines guide the kimchi into trays, pouches, jars, or containers.
After fermentation, the kimchi begins to look like the product people know. Now the factory must make every pack consistent. Each portion is measured. Too much liquid can make a pack messy. Too little liquid can make the cabbage dry. Workers and machines guide the kimchi into trays, pouches, jars, or containers. The red leaves are folded so the package closes cleanly. Brine is added in the right amount. Air is reduced. Edges are white. The product is no longer just a batch in a tub. It becomes a unit. One pack, one serving, one item ready for a shelf. This is where hand food becomes factory food without losing the texture that made it famous.
The sealed kimchi now enters the final checks. Packs are inspected for weight.
The sealed kimchi now enters the final checks. Nothing is random. Packs are inspected for weight. Seals are checked for leaks. Containers pass through clean lines one after another. Some packs are cooled quickly. Some are boxed for cold delivery. The red color is visible through the plastic, but the work around it is almost silent. A small problem here would waste the effort of every stage before it. So the factory watches closely. The cabbage arrived as heavy green heads. The workers trimmed it, washed it, salted it, seasoned it, rested it, and packed it. Now the product is almost ready to leave. The food has changed, but the leaf shape still remains inside every pack.
At the end of the line, the factory becomes still in a different way. Boxes are stacked. Cold air moves around.
At the end of the line, the factory becomes still in a different way. Boxes are stacked. Cold air moves around the finished packs. The kimchi is ready for stores, restaurants, and homes. What began as raw cabbage has passed through water, salt, thyme, chili, pressure, and cold. Every step changed it a little. The washing made it clean. The salt made it soft. The paste gave it heat and color. Fermentation gave it depth. Packaging protected it for the journey. And now the final product sits in perfect rows, bright red behind clear plastic. A simple vegetable has become one of Korea's most iconic foods. Not through one big moment, but through many quiet steps. steps, repeated thousands of times a day.